This Xbox update wants to save you a ton of time. Upgrading your storage is about to get cheaper. Let's discuss. This video is brought to you by Brilliant. What's up guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to all things Xbox. I come on here and I talk about the latest Xbox news, rumors, games, I bring guests on, I do little tutorials, I do unboxings sometimes. If any of that stuff sounds appealing to you, whether you're a veteran of the Xbox community or you're new, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. I also have links beneath this video to all sorts of Xbox stuff, accessories, controllers. If you go and use these links to buy any of that stuff, it goes a long way in helping to support the channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you at least check it out. Forbes calls this new Xbox accessory necessary hardware for gamers. They recently put out an article reviewing the 8-Bit Dough's arcade stick for Xbox. 8-Bit Dough confuses me because I used to say it 8-Bit Dough, but then someone from the company I heard say, no, it's 8-Bit Do. So I started calling it 8-Bit Do, and everyone was in the comments getting after me being like, Ray, it's not 8-Bit Do, it's 8-Bit Dough like Nintendo, duh. But I'm like, okay, well someone from the company, they said themselves that it's not that, it's 8-Bit Do, and I'm a little bit more inclined to believe them than strangers on the internet, but I agree with you, it feels more right, it feels right just to say 8-Bit Dough instead of 8-Bit Do. So I'm gonna say 8-Bit Dough. This is apparently the first ever licensed Xbox wireless game stick. The author of this article reviewed 8-Bit Dough's PC and Switch arcade stick back in 2020, and essentially says that this Xbox controller is a continuation of that. As you could probably see, it has Xbox specific buttons like the guide, the start, select button, the share button. It also has an audio jack and microphone controls as well, and apparently it's pretty customizable. You can switch out the buttons on the actual controller, and you can further customize them using 8-Bit Dough's app. This is something I grew familiar with when I started playing with the 8-Bit Dough Ultimate wireless controller. I generally am a fan of their products, and this thing looks really cool. I feel like anyone who plays fighting games would be really interested in this, especially now that Street Fighter 6 is out on Xbox. But beyond fighting games, I really feel like this would go well with these resurgent, side-scrolling beat-em-up games that we're seeing a lot nowadays. I'm thinking TMNT Shredder's Revenge, I'm thinking River City Girls, I'm thinking Young Souls, and it's also really cool that this thing, you can use it wirelessly as well. I feel like a lot of people who buy this would prefer to use it wired anyway, but it's cool that the option is there. Is this a necessary thing? Is it a must-have for Xbox gamers? I'm not really sure, but it does offer a pretty unique, cool experience for those who are just used to playing on a controller or regular gamepad. You can also use it on PC as well, so it seems pretty versatile to me. For anyone who's interested in picking this thing up, it is available for pre-order through Amazon. It's going to be released on June 30th, and it's going to be priced at $119.99, so about $120, give or take. Speaking of interesting new hardware, I want to take a second to talk about the Apple Vision Pro. Apple finally revealed this thing to the world, and it's like an AR, VR, iPhone, Apple Watch headset situation. There are some things that I thought were pretty cool about this when they showed it off. I edit my YouTube videos in Final Cut, and I've seen some people talk about this on Twitter and stuff, but I thought it could be pretty cool if you could use Final Cut in this headset and then blow up the timeline to where it's like the size of an IMAX theater, and I'm just here like Iron Man Jarvis editing my video rather than on a computer. And then there were some things shown off that were not so cool, like that one little scene where the dad is watching his kids play and he's like recording it on his freaking Apple Vision Pro, and then he goes and relives that memory later. I'm like, okay, that's Black Mirror. That's literally Black Mirror, right? Rather than being in the present moment and playing with your kids, in that moment, you record it and instead sit in a dark room and relive that memory. Like, what is going on with this? But Ray, this is an Xbox channel. Why are we talking about stupid Apple stuff? Well, because for a brief moment, they did talk about using this thing for gaming, saying that all you need to do in order to play games is connect a controller to the headset, and then you can like play your favorite games on a giant screen, even if you live in a tiny apartment or something. They used a PlayStation 5 controller, of course, but it got me thinking, is this something that could catch on in the gaming community? Is this something that Xbox would want to get into as well? Is it something that Amazon would get into? Augmented reality gaming headsets. On one end, we've seen augmented reality games catch fire. Anyone remember the summer of 2016 when everyone in the world and their mom was playing Pokemon Go? On the other end, it feels like VR, AR technology when it comes to gaming hasn't really caught fire in the way a lot of these companies want it to. This video is brought to you by Brilliant. Brilliant is one of the most effective and intuitive ways to learn math and science. They offer a bunch of courses that cover a wide variety of topics, including computer science and understanding AI. Now for me, I haven't taken a math course since I was a junior in high school, which is unfortunately 13 years ago at this point. I'm the type of guy who needs a phone calculator for even the most basic things, like figuring out a tip at a restaurant. So I thought to myself one day, what if I improved my math and analytical skills to the point where I didn't need to do that? Brilliant actually has a course that is literally titled Everyday Math. And taking this course, I noticed that Brilliant does a great job of not only explaining when you get something wrong or right, they couple that with some really great visual assets to illustrate their point as well. I'm a visual learner, always have been. That's been a great help to me. They'll say, oh, this is 40%, but this is also 40%. Here is a graph to visually illustrate that point. It made the whole process smooth, enjoyable. So if you want to pick up a new skill, improve your analytical thinking, go to brilliant.org/xboxready for a 30-day free trial. And for the first 200 people to use the link, you get 20% off of your yearly subscription. Thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. For example, PSVR 2 finally launched a couple of months ago, but I feel like it's already kind of fizzled out. Sure, PlayStation is still supporting it. People who have it and can afford it seem to really like it, but it just hasn't really popped off in the way that a lot of gaming companies want. Every gaming company wants to pop off like Apex Legends or Fortnite. They want to be like a cultural piece of the conversation. I feel like VR is not there yet. That being said, what would it take to see Xbox maybe dabble in an AR, VR headset? And I feel like the number one issue when it comes to these things is for sure the price. The Apple Vision Pro, this is the scariest thing about it, not the Black Mirror stuff. The scariest thing about this is the freaking price. It's $3,500. Right off the bat, that price is out like 70-80% of people who would even be remotely interested in buying this thing. I know that was a point of contention for a lot of people when the PSVR 2 dropped. They're like, hold on, this thing is going to set me back like $600, which is more than I paid for the console itself. The second thing I feel like people would need is like a killer IP, the must-have game. It's like everyone is talking about how amazing this game is, but you can only play it with a VR, AR headset sort of situation. But what would that game be? We haven't seen anything like that before. There have been good games for VR for sure, Half-Life Alyx for example, but no one's like rushing to go get a headset for these games. Maybe a little bit like Phasmophobia, Beat Saber, things like that, but I don't know. I feel like it's not quite making that jump. As an Xbox gamer, I feel like it'd be really cool to have something like this and be like, okay, instead of playing on your living room TV where there's a bunch of noise, like, I don't know, your mom cooking in the kitchen, a dog barking in the backyard, something like that, how about I put on a headset that transports me to the Pillar of Autumn or something and I start playing the newest Halo experience. The whole scanning of your face that they showed off and having a digital version of yourself reminded me a lot of what Xbox used to do with Kinect. There used to be a couple of games where they could scan your face and input them in character creation. I was like, I don't know why, but some of these features are reminding me of the Kinect and that didn't do well, so why would an Xbox headset do well? Obviously, this thing isn't out yet, right? And like I said, there's some cool things about it and there's some cringe things about it, but I feel like if companies decide to take this tech further, maybe find a way to make the price more approachable, it could have really cool implications for the video game industry. Next up, let's talk about an Xbox accessory that is a little bit more necessary than an AR headset and an arcade stick controller for your Xbox. I'm talking about Western Digital storage card. Now, we first saw this Western Digital expandable SSD for Xbox randomly appear on Best Buy's website, and then it was very quickly taken off, almost as soon as it appeared. That didn't stop people from taking notice and having all sorts of speculation about when this thing is going to come out. Well, that day is finally here because over on the Western Digital store, they have not one, but two storage cards listed for Xbox. The 1TB version for $150 that we saw on Best Buy's website, and then a 512GB option for $80. Now, again, these are probably not the prices that a lot of us were hoping for, but I maintain that this this is still a good step in the right direction. If you need a reminder, there's only been one company making these kinds of cards for Xbox, and that's Seagate, and they've been charging whatever they want. Hopefully when these Western digital cards launch, other companies will follow and it'll continue to drive the price down due to competition in the space. Right now, the Seagate version for a 1TB SSD is $200. So $50 off for this Western digital? Not bad, not the best, but still a little better, slightly better than what we've had up until this point. I personally don't have one of these things. I have an external drive that I switch some games off, mostly single player games. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to switch it to an external drive and then play it again, put it back on my Xbox when I feel the urge to play. But part of me just wants to lay down the extra bit of cash and get just the expandable card to put into the back of my Xbox and not have to worry about transferring games back and forth. But it is frustrating as a fan when I look over at the PlayStation side and Jimmy Champagne is over here talking about like, oh, you can get freaking 4 terabytes for like $100. And sure, yeah, you have to do a little bit more, but it's still cool that they got cheaper options over on the PlayStation side of things. Hopefully that comes over to the Xbox side sooner rather than later. Next up, Microsoft is working on an update that is being tested in the Xbox Insider program that may improve download speeds. They say, we have made improvements to content installation and updating that may improve download speeds for some users. Now, obviously, that all sounds well and good, but the language is pretty vague here. They're like, it could improve speeds for some users. And it's kind of got me thinking, what would they implement exactly to speed up download times? It's such a variable thing. People have different internet speeds. They have different ups and downs in terms of their download and upload. So what are some uniform changes that they can implement that would improve that? I'm very curious. This is something I gotta come clean about. I don't really struggle with. As you see, I game at a desk and my Xbox back there is directly connected to my internet modem. And it is so awesome having played over Wi-Fi pretty much my whole life, or as long as Wi-Fi gaming has been a thing. It makes downloads so quick and easy. I can download huge games in like 30 minutes maybe. But over in my bedroom, I do have a Series S, and I gotta say download speeds on that they're okay. They're not the worst. It's not like they're taking all day, but they do take like a couple of hours for the bigger games. And I want to say that's how most people in the community feel. Like, okay, download speeds aren't great, but they're not the worst. Of course, when you're downloading something like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2, something north of the 100 gigabyte size, that's frustrating for everyone on a wireless connection. But it would be really cool once they roll out this update to all Xboxes if they can get something that will improve download times in some way. Next up, let's talk about the Xbox Showcase, specifically Xbox executive Aaron Greenberg's tweets regarding the showcase. He was pretty active over the weekend, and people were joking, saying, Aaron, this is usually the time that you tweet out saying, hey guys, temper your expectations, don't think anything too crazy is gonna happen. And then he came out, he was like, no, I love it. I want people to run wild with their expectations. I feel like this is gonna be a really great show. So people are like, okay, Xbox is pretty confident about this upcoming showcase on June 11th. First of all, we know roughly how long the showcase is going to be. The Xbox Game Showcase plus Starfield Direct is going to run roughly 2 hours. Aaron Greenberg also said that there's going to be no CGI trailers, at least for Xbox first-party stuff. So when they apparently show off Fable, it's not going to be like this pre-rendered teaser. It's going to be actual gameplay, which is awesome. Now, this is a great move on their part, especially coming off the heels of the Sony showcase, which was mostly CGI trailers. I was excited to see Marathon make an appearance. Oh, a new Bungie game. But then I was like, okay, what is this game? I mean, like, this trailer looks cool, but clearly it's not gameplay. You know what I'm saying? This is an approach that we saw with them last year. They were like, okay, guys, we have to show off some gameplay, and that's what we're gonna do. Not everything was gameplay or in-game footage, but for the most part, I feel like they stuck to that last year as well. What they're not gonna stick to for this showcase, however, is this 12-month promise, this 12-month format. Everything that you see in the show is gonna be available in the next 12 months. And again, I think that is smart. It's a really awesome claim. It was cool when they did it last year, but obviously they did not deliver. Hollow Knight Silksong got flexed out of that 12-month window, Arc 2, Forza Motorsport, and Starfield, of course. He also said there's not going to be any TV or movie trailers during the showcase as well. So yeah, we know that there's some sort of Gears of War live-action project in the makes, but we're not going to get anything about that at this showcase. Now, I do have a couple of questions about this. I feel like in-engine footage could basically mean like a CGI trailer. I feel like that's just another way to put it. And on the other end, if the show drops and everything is amazing, we see all sorts of cool stuff, but we still have to wait a couple of months for the next first party release, I feel like it's still going to be kind of disappointing. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited, but it kind of feels like a good show with mostly gameplay trailers is kind of necessary for Xbox at this point. The game that was supposed to be holding everyone over from Xbox first party, Redfall, did not do very well. So yeah, while all of this sounds good that Aaron Greenberg is saying, it's like, yeah, dude, we got to get it together. We got to get people hyped and excited. What would be really cool as an Xbox fan is to be like, okay, second half of 2023 going into the first half of 2024, here are 4 huge first party games that everyone is going to be expecting, everyone loves. We already have that with Starfield, obviously. Forza Motorsport in October, maybe? Hopefully we finally get that confirmation. Hellblade 2 after that, and then something into first half of 2024, whether it's Fable, whether it's Avowed, I don't know, but it'd be really cool to be like, here's what's happening over the next half of 2023, and then boom, to start off 2024, here's this game. Aaron Greenberg also said that Starfield Direct, what they're going to show off during that time period is going to, people are going to need to bring an extra pair of underwear. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. That kind of makes me suspicious, because last year when we saw the Starfield gameplay, I was like, this looks cool, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm like being sent to another planet. This is so amazing. Out of all the things that this guy said, that is what raises my eyebrow the most. There's no doubt in my mind that Starfield could be a really awesome game. But saying that is going to make me freak out and make me run to the nearest restroom, I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a hater. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic. I don't know. I feel like that is too high a bar to set. People were saying that I was going to poo my pants over the Sony showcase, and then it came and went, and I was like, that was like a 6 at best. I can't believe that this thing is this Sunday already. I feel like I've been speculating a lot about it, and then the day is going to finally be here that me and Jimmy were going to be there live watching this thing. I'm super excited. Hopefully they can follow through and deliver on some hype for us Xbox fans, because we really need it. We'll learn more about games we haven't heard from in a very long time. We'll see more about the ROG Ally, the first quote-unquote handheld Xbox. I'm also hoping that we get some shadow drops on the day of the showcase as well. It's probably not going to be anything huge like, okay, go play Starfield right now, but I could use like some cool thing coming day one or the day of the showcase onto Game Pass, because I'm not really thrilled about what's being added this month. I am pretty deep in Diablo 4, so maybe it's not such a bad thing that I'm not playing through anything on Game Pass right now, but still, it would be cool as a fan, as a subscriber. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video.